Welcome back to the second quarter of the Bobby Dupre Show, and we're going to give a couple of sponsors, and then we're going to talk about the death of Marion Edwards, who all the article says is the younger brother of former Governor Edwin Edwards. And of course, Marion was 84. We'll get to that in just a moment. Just stay tuned. We're going to get a couple of our good sponsors.
Dixie Storage, all your storage needs, personal and commercial, throughout St. Landry Parish. They've got locations around Washington, Opelousas, and Port Barre, with warehousing all around as well. So if you want to bring in your small,
yes, and about the flooded materials and all that you were able to salvage.
Right, while you're redoing your place, maybe you've got to store some of your items while you're cleaning up your carpets, cleaning up your building. Good time to rent some storage units from Dixie Storage. Put your things in, better take them out. Nice and clean. You've got 24-hour access and very safe access to all these different places, well lit. So as you've got time to work on your project, you can get in and out of there.
Right.
They've got railroad spur access for you guys in business. If you need them to do inventory control, they can handle that. They've got the huge loading docks, big forklift access. They also have their sister company, Dixie One Trucking, that can take your loads and finish delivering them for you, or move your inventory between their warehouses for you. And they've got their sister company, A Plus Glass, at locations in Lafayette, here in Opelousas. I went by there this past week and I had my inspection sticker done on my truck. They do it all the way up to the 18-wheelers. They also will change your glass. They were changing some glass. People with all this rain that had leaky windshields were getting those fixed while they were there. That's right. So go by and see them.
Okay,
one more. We will hit, how about LHC Group? LHC Group, all your home health care needs, everything from the therapists that you may need, the nurses you may need, the special equipment at home, from oxygen to the button you can press to call for help if you've got to call for an ambulance, the special beds, the lift chairs. They can handle all that for you. They've got hospice care and palliative care available throughout the whole United States as well. And they've got a health and wellness center here in South Louisiana, right there in Opelousas, Louisiana, off of Heather Drive. Louisiana Healthcare Group, all about helping people.
And I noticed that one of the founders, Keith Myers, has been invited and will be a guest speaker at one of the national events taking place regarding home health care. So tells you what kind of people you're dealing with. They're very interested and very knowledgeable of keeping up with the changes that are being made in medical care every day. And now we're going to talk about the death of a longtime friend of mine, for that matter. And they use different methods to, I guess, describe his demeanor, his character. And I call him, you know, he's dapper. He was a dapper fella. He made his own way, but always did it in a very friendly, professional way. He was a friend to everybody. And one of the last, I guess, hats that he wore the most is this beautiful white hat here. And we were able to pick up a copy of it, and we hope it's coming in clear on your televisions and your internet connections that you might be listening and watching the Bobby Dupre Show. He was a brother, that's true, younger brother of Governor Edwards. The whole family was born in Marksville, Louisiana, in Avoyelles Parish. And at some point, their oldest sister and husband, Miss Audrey Isabel, moved over to the Crowley area. And she must have been a real leader of the Edwards family, because they all migrated over there. And in I think it's 1956, Miss Audrey and also Marion, who we're speaking about right now, formed an insurance agency as well as a real estate agency. And actually Marion was involved in it all the way through 2012. So just recently, I guess because of changing of health, I never asked Donna and Wanda when I saw them at the funeral home.
His two daughters.
The two of his daughters. I didn't get to see him. But he helped Edwin. He was kind of reminded me of the Cat Doucette political days here in St. Landry Parish. He had a brother, Elton, that was in the background and gave him some good advice and helped him fundraising. And this is the type of individual that Marion didn't want to be on the firing line as the politician. He wanted to know the politicians. And sometimes in in the 80s, he went to work for McMahon. What is it? The big company.
Freeport
McMoran.
Yeah, Freeport McMoran.
Yeah, that's correct. And he worked for them in governmental affairs, which means he was a lobbyist.
Right,
That's what he was. He was a lobbyist. And whether Governor Edwards was in office or out of office, Marion Edwards was the type, he didn't look and see if you voted for Edwin. He was going to be your friend. So he always had good political contacts no matter where he was, whether he was back in Crowley or he was in Baton Rouge or he was in Washington, D.C., because let's not forget that brother Edwin Edwards was also congressman. We tend to forget that, but that's when Bobby Dupre and the Dupre family, as we referred to, Dupre clan, that's when we first got involved of helping Edwin Edwards. And some of that was because Marion worked with us to get to know Edwin and do some fundraising and politicking here in our area. And of course that continued through 4 terms with Edwin and always working with brother Marion. And he was a cancer survivor. 36 years ago, he beat the cancer. And he became a spokesman for this, and he would take the time in his life to visit with people that were maybe having problems dealing with the fact that they had cancer. Why me? Well, he was a good Christian. He belonged to the Church of the Nazarene, and at one time, if my memory serves me correct, Edwin Edwards was licensed as a minister of that faith. And of course, the way they got into that church, as I understand it, was their sister Audrey's husband was a minister in the church. That's how I understand it. And Belinda Thibodeau at the office looked it up on the computer, and it's a relatively new religion. Something like 1904 or 1906 is when the church was started in Bethany, Oklahoma, and that's where and he attended the university there also. He meaning Marion, and I guess Edwin did too, probably. Edwin's known to be able to recite the Bible. I mean, you just ask him a certain verse, and I understand he can give it. Marion was just some wonderful man to have known.
And a character.
And a character at the same time, spiffy. He was he dressed to his own tune, and I got to visit with his wife, Penny, and his first wife, Aline, was the mother of the children that they had, and the children, I have it somewheres here, were Wanda and Donna, and there was another, there were 3. Where is it? There they are.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, that's correct. And like I said, that mama was his first wife, Miss Aline. And then Penny has I've been knowing Penny now for years. She's been constant at his side, always helping him, and quite a person in her own right. So they were heavily involved in the research that takes place at MD Anderson, and in fact they've established a Marion D. Edwards Fellowship in Oncology at the MD Anderson. So he's leaving quite a legacy behind.
And don't forget his charitable work with the symphony in Lafayette as well. Spent quite a bit of donations supporting the symphony.
Closely associated with it. That's what it says right here. Very, very interesting person. Wish I could go get all of the facts, but we're trying to show a person who went through a lot of situations. He had some ups and downs, just like most of us have. And I wish I didn't have a couple of engagements that I had planned that I needed to be, but I'd love to have gone to the funeral, and Penny and the girls wanted me to go.
I just couldn't go to the wake the day before.
I went to the wake the day before and really got to talk with them.
This is a picture of the carriage that they used to bring him.
From and then from the church.
White horses with a coachman drawing the carriage. So,
yeah,
And so he was still in style even at the end.
It's still spiffy.
And the carriage driver with the big tall hat on. So.
I met a few people that I want to maybe make mention. Mm-hmm. And something else that happened at the same time in that family, I did meet Chris Edwards, and that is a nephew of Marion's. Mm-hmm. Now, his mother was Eleanor Byrne Edwards Merrill. Mm-hmm. His mother died on January the 9th. Can you imagine?
So literally like the day after Marion died.
Well, Marion died a couple of days after.
Right. Oh yeah, right, exactly.
Right after her.
Right.
So two people well known in the Crowley area.
She was married to the brother Nolan,
who was murdered
quite some years
ago. And she had 4 children. She had Byrne Edwards, her 4 children, and his wife, Christopher, that's Chris, who I met, and then Bridget Bustani and her husband, Charles Bustani Jr. That's our congressman.
Oh, really? Yeah, no kidding.
So when they were saying that he was related to the Edwards, he sure was related, very, very close. His wife was a niece of Edwin Edwards. And then Nolan G. Edwards. Nolan J. Edwards was the father.
Right.
And Miss Eleanor and her family, our deepest sympathies, and of course to the Marion Edwards, if there's ever anything that we can do at this end for you, all you got to do is pick up the phone. And I'm sure that I also met a person in the lobby, Joe Prejean, who watches the program, who was quick to tell me he thoroughly enjoys the BOBBY002 show. And another friend that I had not seen in years and years is Mark Landry, came up to me and told me hello. He's part owner of the Landry Harris Insurance Agency, which is now located. They may still have an office in Crowley, but their big office is in the Bank Towers downtown in Lafayette. And also met right here the Mr. and Mrs. Carmichael with the Carmichael's Pharmacy that advertises quite heavily. She says, I think I've met you before. And I said, really? She says, we received the husband and wife team that received the honor that we were presented
in Lafayette.
In Lafayette by the Community Foundation of Acadiana. I said, I remember that. And I said, it's kind of strange. This year, my nephew and his wife received it. And there was just one of that year, I think 2011 is when I received mine. And then Reggie and Marie received theirs this year. So anyhow, you go to these wakes and you really get to see a lot of friends. And again, the passing of Marion Edwards, a man that leaves a legacy behind.
There you go. Well, we're coming up on the break. We got about 30 seconds before our break. I guess we could remind folks that we got the walk, the Right to Life walk is coming up January 26th. That's not this Saturday, but next at Our Lady Queen of Angels from 10 o'clock in the morning. They'll start walking and go all the way to the New Life Center there in the middle of town. They've had it over here, I guess it's 20 plus years. It's with the longest pro-life walk in the nation, probably. So go by on January 26th at 10 a.m. And we're going to take a 1-minute break, folks. We'll see you on the other side of one.